goal. The commentator is Tony Govern.
Every game without a goal increases the scrutiny on £7.5 million Dennis Bergkamp. It's 7 so far, but Arsenal are quick to credit him with creating 75% of their 9 goals. And there's relief that the irrepressible Ian Wright continues to do what the Dutchman can't. He's got 5 of them. Well, David Platt is still missing from Arsenal's team following a cartilage operation, but he aims to be back to face Leeds in October. Arsenal's only 2 team changes this season were both because of injury, but they've made a tactical change today. John Jensen is dropped to substitute, and Martin Keown comes back in to do a tight marking job on Matthew Le Tissier that he's done very effectively in past meetings. Le Tissier continues to shoulder a disproportionate responsibility for Southampton's performances. He's scored 5 of their 8 goals. But Gordon Watson is added to the attack after a spell kicking his heels as a substitute as Southampton try today to take the pressure off Neil Shipley up front. Robbie Hart of Darlington is the referee, and at kick-off the portents for a high-scoring game aren't good. Arsenal have the tightest defence in all 4 divisions, only 2 goals conceded. Southampton haven't scored an away league goal, but maybe it'll all be different here at Highbury. Here's Ken Moncau back in the side after a couple of games out with a groin strain. This is Magilton. First touch for Gordon Watson, who's anxious to try and make an impression this season. Joined Southampton from Sheffield Wednesday last March. Got 3 goals in a dozen appearances, but he hasn't opened his account yet this season. Here's Maddison, looking for Benali, offering a little bit of width, and Arsenal have been quick to close him down. Here's the danger man. Oh, there were 2 quickly around. It's loose to Watson. First strike by Southampton, that will give them early encouragement, and Watson might feel he could have struck it a bit better. And when Le Tissier had the ball just on the edge of the penalty area there, it was noticeable how quick Arsenal were to get at him, and in the confusion it finally went loose to Watson. It wasn't a difficult save that David Seaman had to make. Positive start by the visitors. Adams trying to hook it out, didn't get it far. And that's neat. Here's Lee Dixon. Arsenal have worked it out from their own penalty area very neatly. Here's Merson. He dragged it wide, but it might have been 1 apiece, and we've not yet played 3 minutes. But an attack which said everything about Arsenal and quality. Crisp passing, finding players, and only Merson's finish letting them down. Well, it really is end-to-end in these first 5 minutes. Bergkamp. Here's Ray Parlour. Looking for Merson. Well, they tried to let it go, Jason Dodd, and it didn't. Here's Bergkamp from long range. And well wide, it nearly hit the corner flag. Well, he's snatching at everything. And maybe it just needs the 1 goal to settle the nerves, and the rest will follow. Bruce Riarki was so successful during his 3 years at Bolton. 2 promotions to Division 1, then into the Premier Division, took them to a Coca-Cola Cup final, and had some terrific FA Cup runs. Now Helder as Arsenal try to open things up. He's got the defenders backpedaling. Well, the shots are raining in on goal. And Besant getting airborne, couldn't have known whether that would be in or out. It was just wide of the post. Glenn Helder, another of the Dutch imports, still looking for his first Arsenal goal. The pressure not quite on him as much as it is on Bergkamp. And mixed feelings for John Hartson, a striker on the substitutes bench who desperately wants to get on. Magilton making himself a little bit of room. The Tissier, oh, Adams read that. And that might fall for Bergkamp. Just kept it in, faced by Richard Hall. Here's Ian Wright. Moncau got there first. Corner. And Ian Wright, oh, he's, well, goodness me. Ian Wright lashed out ridiculously then. But I don't really think there was anything unfair about Moncau's challenge. But he's really incensed about it. And what will Robbie Hart make of that? Although Ian Wright was on the floor and on his back, it did appear that he tried to aim a kick at Moncau. When the dust settles, it will be a corner. And Robbie Hart has seen nothing that requires disciplinary action. Merson to take it. Keown's there. Here's Adams. Merson with time to pick someone out. Off the line. And Merson will plant it back in again. It's another corner and Southampton are under pressure. Southampton squeezing that one from off their own goal line. I don't think it was Besant, it was the defender on the foot of the post. That's tight, too tight. And straight into the arms of Dave Besant. Dave Merrington was a player most notably at Burnley before his career finished. He went out of the game and spent 3 years in the probation service. 11 years coaching at Southampton before being made their manager. Oh, great back by held us free. The defenders won't get to him, just Besant to beat. And therein lies Arsenal's problems. The miss by Helder in the end will overshadow a terrific bit of football by Bergkamp. It was a marvellous back header, quite deliberately done to set Helder free. And I'm afraid the finishing here is woeful. The Arsenal crowd just a little bit disgruntled at the misses they've already seen, and it's very quick to transmit itself to the players. Magilton over the top to Jason Dodd, who was watching the ball and hadn't realised that he'd gone over the line. Now Helder. You'd think Arsenal have won the league and the FA Cup in one moment. And I bet they can hear the cheers at Tottenham. A super volley. And after 10 hours and 46 minutes of the season. And it's taken 8 games to produce that first goal. The Dutch international now 26. 40 appearances for his country, 23 goals in the Dutch international shirt, and now 1 for Arsenal. And how many more to come, we wonder, during the remainder of the season. Here's Helder. Right, not offside. There's nobody with him, and he's chipped Besant. He had to do that, Ian Wright, because his run towards goal was very quickly going to be interrupted by a defender, and there was no other Arsenal player up with him. It was the right thing to do, but he didn't quite beat Besant, who was backpedaling as quickly as he could. It's turned the defender, who headed it out. Arsenal have the corner. Well, Merson's gone across to take it. Adams has jogged quietly up from the back, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. Ball's flick on, Adams! The central defenders combine for what in the end was really a simple goal. A corner to the near post. Steve Bold used his height to get the back head flick on, and Adams really unchallenged as he met that. And so much power on it that even though Besant got his hands to it, he couldn't push it out, and it just flew up into the roof of the net. Well, Tony Adams walked forward from his defensive positions. He hardly broke his stride and just rose to head it in. It was as simple as that. His 3rd goal of the season, following the 2 that he scored in midweek. And with, well, 23, 24 minutes gone, Arsenal look in total control. Seaman waits, but you'd have to fancy Le Tissier from this sort of position. Oh, it took a deflection, did it? Or, well, Watson's claiming it. It hit somebody, and Gordon Watson says it was him. I think, in fairness, Le Tissier was trying to place it in that far corner. In fact, credit to Gordon Watson, it was a super cushioned header. Well, suddenly Southampton with cause to believe that there may be something in the match for them after all. Here's Glenn Helder. That's a corner. And corners have been a problem for Southampton. Again, Mersum will take it. And Tony Adams again trying to look inconspicuous. He times it so that he arrives just about when the ball's going to be kicked. Just quietly jogging in, and in it comes. Again, Bowl looks for the flick on. Helder! Oh, super save! Besant has to earn his corn. It was a full-blooded drive. Besant got enough on it to put it over, and corner number 2. Again, the flick on. That was Le Tissier's clearing header. Le Tissier has just put that into the crowd. Southampton anxious to get it out of their penalty area. Laurie McMenemy, Southampton's director of football, and immediately behind him, somebody from the world of boxing, Jarvis Astaire. Southampton still looking to get back on level terms, and here's Gordon Watson. He'll get there first. There's no pace on it, and Keown clears it. It just needed a solid connection after the defensive slip by Arsenal, and it would have been 2 apiece right on the stroke of half-time. Watson just directing it wide of Seaman, but Keown just getting back. Le Tissier to swing it in. Moncau's there, good header! Moncau, it's 2 apiece. In stoppage time at the end of the first half, and the lethal accuracy of Le Tissier picked out Moncau, and Seaman watched it with his arms outstretched as if expecting there'd be a defender on that post, but there wasn't. Just watch David Seaman. He thought somebody was there. Well, what a great first half. Not ending on a happy note for Arsenal, but an explosive first Arsenal goal. Tony Adams, simplicity itself to knock in number 2, but just when it looked like Arsenal would cut loose, Southampton pull one back through Watson, and then right on the stroke of half-time, Moncau with the equaliser. 2-2 at Highbury. What a great game. An afternoon of sunshine football for Frank McClintock to describe so far, one of a legion of ex-players now in broadcasting. A close study of the replay of that Moncau goal shows that it may actually have come off the back of Steve Bowles' head, but Moncau claims it. Steve Bowles certainly won't want it as an own goal. And can these two sides produce as much excitement in the second 45 minutes as they did in the first? Winterburn. Harlow just checking that he had as much room as he did. And Gordon Watson for Southampton, 2 ahead of him. Good surging run. Here's Shipley, took it down very well. What a good touch from the tall England under-21 international. He dragged that down beautifully. Just struck it with the outside of the boot. Bergkamp's flick on. That's Maddison. Here's Ian Wright in behind the defence. Wright! Oh, super save! Still Ian Wright! Off the woodwork! close shave for Besant and Southampton. A super save from the Saints goalkeeper, and then the woodwork came to his rescue. Bergkamp. It almost cracked the woodwork. Besant beaten in the air, and a super strike for Bergkamp's second. But Arsenal faces are wreathed in smiles, and the name on the lips is Bergkamp. Letitia. We might try one from here. That's a great ball floated in, and the defenders left it for Seaman, which was the right thing to do. They've done so much in this match. If they finally go home empty-handed, it will be with great disappointment, having clawed themselves back. Wright turns very quickly. Besant's come. He doesn't get there. But Wright's had to carry it right to the corner flag. Arsenal's ball. Moncau. Never looked like getting to Letitia. Wright gets number 4. Besant's on the floor. And Southampton are down and out. He turned one way, then the other. Little back heel. Benali didn't know which way to go. Gave himself that half a yard of space. And Arsenal are now beginning to do what they threatened to in the first half when they led 2-0. They're running away with it. Oh, credit Dave Besant. I think he got his fingertips to it, but not enough to keep it out. Bergkamp for Adams. Oh, a good turn. And not a bad cross either. But he's a long way out of position now. But he got back to win the challenge. And now can jog more leisurely back to his regular position. Magilton from long range, no problem. Arsenal retain their unbeaten record in the Premier Division, but the story of the afternoon is all about Dennis Bergkamp. That great weight of expectation finally lifted from his shoulders, and he looks skywards as much as to say, thank goodness. 2 super goals acclaimed by the Arsenal crowd. The first was good, the second was almost unbelievable. Securing Arsenal's 4-2 victory over a brave Southampton side who contributed much with their attacking policy. Nobody in a crowd of just over 38,000 begrudges a penny of what they've spent. The level of entertainment was exceptionally high. But there's nothing in the end for Southampton. 3 points for Arsenal. And Bergkamp will make the headlines tomorrow.
Do you feel happier tonight?
Well, I'm very happy with the result, of course, for the team. And yeah, I think it's sort of a relief that you got a lot of talking about it. You get it behind now, so they won't talk about that anymore.
You finally put that one to rest. The next question will be, how many are you going to get this season, I suppose?
Now everybody talks about it, that I will score a lot of goals, I think, so. I don't know, if it goes like this, we play these sort of games in this way, I think we and I as well can score a lot of goals.
Not any had any pressure from the management or the players at this club. Everybody has been supportive. We haven't talked about it. We've only asked the player to continue to work extremely hard for the team, to be a team player, and irrespective of who scores the goals, if we win matches, we'll be happy. The fact that he scored 2 today, and 2 great goals today, will be pleasing for him, and I think pleasing for all the players and the club in general, the supporters.
He's a quality player, and that's what we've always been saying since he's come here. But you know, the knockers will knock, and you know, now they're going to be his best friend now, and that's just the way they are. You know, they're all chameleons. And for me, you know, when it's going bad, you know, they slaughter people. When it's going good, they're on their side. And there's nothing you can do about that.
So you're going home disappointed, but not broken-hearted?
I'll tell you what I've learned in this game. When you take a knock, you've got to be like a boxer. You hit the ropes, you bounce back, you go back to training, and you work again.
I guess we can all relax now that Bergkamp scored, although he was never very tense about it, was he, the situation, it seems to me?
Well, I'm not so sure. I think the pressure does build up. A lot of expectation. To be honest, there's been a lot of rubbish written and said about the fact that he's on a goal drought, but it takes time to adjust to English football. It takes time even when you've experienced it before and returning like Platt has or I've done before. But Bergkamp's had to get used to it. I think he's played well. He's been involved in a lot of Arsenal's goals, but he's certainly silenced the knockers with his performance today. A couple of the goals were great, and we see him here, and we've got nice new squares to show you to pick him out in the midfield there, and Helder picks up the ball, and Bergkamp, although he was on the halfway line for him, but it was inevitably going to happen. Here we pick him up. This is his great strength. He gets in those positions between our back four and midfield, which is so difficult for defenders in this country to cope with. We're so rigid in our system. He doesn't quite get Ian Wright in on that occasion, and the ball's knocked back to Dave Besant in goal. But this time, it's different. Tony Adams knocks in. Again, Bergkamp comes deep. Again, Southampton's defence don't know whether to come with him or not. On this occasion today.
He's a class player, isn't he?
Oh, he's a wonderful footballer, and that's why in England, for that sort of player that plays in that sort of position, he was always going to come good, and he will come good again.
Now, he and Wright seem to have forged a good relationship both on and off the pitch. I know which one does the talking, I would imagine. But you've got evidence of that here today, haven't you?
Yes, very much so. And I think Ian's obviously, and the rest of the Arsenal team, you could see the reaction at the end of the game. They were desperately delighted that Bergkamp had got off the mark. They would feel the pressure for him. And I think Ian Wright sums it up here. As we freeze the pitch, you can see normally Wright would go for goal there, no question. But on this occasion, knocks in Bergkamp, although he's quite tightly marked, and it doesn't work. Over-eagerness to help him. On this occasion, Helder gets the ball, had another great game, knocks in Wright. We see him go one way, trying to get the shot, but Bergkamp's got his 2 goals now, so he thinks, stuff you, it's my turn now. That's nice to see a good old striker's attitude this time, and selfishness returns, and he knocks it in.
I'm not convinced about that one. The whole strikers union. I can remember when he was playing it, when he was in the penalty area. Can you ever remember him passing to somebody alongside and thinking he'll help him out?
I can remember him. I can remember him scoring a lot. That's what I can remember. One black mark for Ian Wright in that match, though. He overreacted, didn't he, when Ken Moncau fouled him?
Yeah, he does overreact, and he does it on a fairly regular basis, and it's something I think he's tried to eradicate from his game, but he's still clearly not done, and he'll never learn. But he's an infectious character. He's very enthusiastic. He's a great player, but he's just got that black side.
Pity, because he did play so well. Well, now the team
came off Dixon that time. Shot from Peacock. In goes Furlong. Now Hughes. The pressure pays. Chelsea take the lead. 7 minutes into the second half. For the 3rd consecutive game at Stamford Bridge, Mark Hughes has scored, and Arsenal just couldn't resist the pressure. 3rd corner in a row, 3rd time lucky. Came off Lee Dixon at the near post. That rather unhinged all the men around him. Peacock couldn't, Furlong couldn't, Hughes could. Bergkamp. Gonna have a go. Oh! And Carving didn't like that at all. Bounced in front of him, plenty of pace. He knew it was coming. Carving could only just manage to get his chest in the way of it. Oh, Stratton looking for Sinclair. It's found instead Helder. Oh, the chance. Ian Wright was screaming Arsenal square ball. I think Helder probably did the right thing in going for goal. The mistake he made was not hitting the target. It was a pass from Spatman which Sinclair wasn't expecting. Just as well he didn't catch Helder there. Carring came out very, very quickly, made it difficult for the Dutchman. Not that difficult, he missed by quite a bit, didn't he?
I think those kind of games you only can find in England. I think, yeah, as I said before, there's a lot of battling in the midfield, and the referee allows it. So yeah, you can go on, and that's a difference between England and Holland or Italy.
The jury's no longer out on Dennis Bergkamp. Highbury was always convinced the goals would arrive. Bergkamp's first against third division Hartlepool set the tone for an Arsenal exhibition and acted like something of an aphrodisiac for his passionate partner Ian Wright. Their double act has frightening potential. If Bergkamp's reverse pass was class, what about Wright's finish? The tie was dead and buried, but few of the 27,000 at Highbury left early. The only blow was Bergkamp's premature departure with a back injury, although he did manage his second and Arsenal's third. And Bergkamp was still on the pitch when Wright made it 4 with another exquisite goal. The first was lobbed in with the left, his second curled in with the right. And even though it was only Hartlepool, Bruce Rioch praised the invention of Arsenal's approach, something they've not been renowned for in recent seasons. Glenn Helder and John Hartson got involved for the 5th, Wright's hat-trick flourish. The Oxford manager Dennis Smith was confident.